What's going on? Welcome. How's everyone doing? Hopefully, you can hear me clearly. If you can hear me loud and clear, please just let me know. Just say loud and clear. Let me know where you're plugging in from. Yes, what's going on? Today is the 2nd of November. Tomorrow is my 43rd birthday. So I'm excited about that. I have every reasons to be excited about my 43rd birthday. It's a lot of people that don't have the privilege to be able to say that. So you might not see me here tomorrow because I would like to spend that time with my family. Also, I'll be traveling on Friday, so you might not see me until Saturday or Sunday. Okay, but we'll see how it goes. As usual, you guys are always willing to be flexible with me. Let me take these glasses off so I can feel relaxed a little bit. So what's going on? How's everyone doing? Hey, D'Souza, good to see you. Thanks for always supporting. Hey, Bagavad, good to see you. Bagavad, I know you snuck up over here because I know Auntie B is still alive, right? But thank you for always supporting. Oh, are they done? I don't think they're done, right? Let me see. I think she's still going in. But, nonetheless, the show must go on. Oh, it looks like she might be done. I'm not sure. Let's see here. But yeah, we have a good show to put on today. We're going to have a fun, as usual. I've got a few clips prepared for you. All right. Oh, she's still live. Okay, good. That's okay. We're gonna continue the show over here. All right. Thank you for that. For that. So we have a good show to put on today. Today, we're talking about one gentleman and one deity, if you will, right? You can call him a deity, right? At this point in time, just out of complete due respect, we're talking about OONI of Ife. And we're talking about Yul Edochie. Some people say Yul, Yul. Which one is it, Seth? Anyway, I'm just gonna call it by what it looks like. Yul. Is it Yul or Yul? Is it pronounced Y-O-L or Y-U-L? Anyway, nonetheless, we're just gonna continue the show. So we have a good show to put on today. Today we're talking about 5 lessons. 5 lessons that Yul Edochie can learn from the OONI of Ife on polygamy. Hola, what are you trying to say? You keep encouraging polygamy? No, I am not encouraging polygamy. Okay, but some people say this is their reality, and there's a way to move when it comes to polygamy, right? And that topic right there is basically concluding. Okay, it's concluding that Yul doesn't know what he's doing. And we have even more reasons to conclude that he doesn't know what he's doing. But we're going to offer him some lessons that we're going to extract from the OONI of Ife. OONI of Ife didn't always get it right too, right? I mean, he chopped breakfast twice on the throne, right? So who's best to teach us other than people that have made mistakes that have failed in the past, right? So we can look at these 2 people. One of them is the king of the whole Yoruba kingdom. And we can say, hey, maybe these are things. Now, this may look like a joke to you, but I guarantee you there's going to be, as usual, lots of lessons in it. Okay. So put your seatbelt on. We're going to have fun with this. Okay. Don't forget that we are always here at least 3 times a week. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Okay, make sure that you grab the link to this video, share it with 3 people. When you hit the subscribe button, there's a little bell next to it. You want to click that bell and you want to click all. That's how you get notified when I go live. Okay, you get notified on your mobile device, anything. That's how you get notified. Okay, and the more you do that, the more YouTube says, hey, more people want to listen to what this guy is talking about. Okay. All right. So without any further ado, we're just gonna go ahead and and get started, shall we? All right. Welcome back. All right. So, like I said, today we're talking about the 5 lessons that Yul Edochie can extract out of the OONI of Ife story. For those of you that may not know, OONI of Ife is the king of a small town called Ile Ife in Yoruba land. It's considered the spiritual headquarters of the whole Yoruba kingdom. Okay, Yoruba kingdom, Yoruba people, whichever one, Yoruba religion is a spiritual headquarters. Okay, you can literally Google it, you'll find more than enough information. This is a very, very ancient town, and this is the most respected king in all of Yoruba land. Okay, in recent times, I think today there's a news that he's married his 6th wife in about 2 or 3 weeks, right? So this is polygamy at its finest. Literally, when I say finest, finest, okay, because it usually eventually turns ugly, okay? Don't quote me, just watch and learn, okay? But it is what it is. I think what I heard is that some of the Oloris, the queens, are starting to slap each other already. But hey, sometimes bloggers will make up stories and bullshit just for clicks. So we don't know what is true. What I know that is true as a fact is that polygamy is a house of war. Polygamy is a war zone. Okay, any polygamy household is a war zone. The type of children that comes out of there too, they have to carry a lot of trauma into their future lives, and they have to kind of deal with that. So, and I say for the most part, okay, for the most part, yes, for obvious reason, this is not rocket science. It's not that deep, okay? It's just people. When you put people in a place where they have to be territorial, jealousy will come in, envy will come in. Human beings are like that. This shouldn't be a surprise to anyone except the lames who may be fantasizing about polygamy as a thing. If you care about legacy, if you care about your children as you move into the future, be aware, okay? So let me go ahead and drop the link because I know Brother Patrick is here. I see Brother Patrick. I see you, sir. Just in case you want to come up, I'm going to drop the link right now. And feel free to come up anytime you're ready, because this is going to be an interesting conversation. So shout out to you, Brother Patrick. Shout out to you, Kisita. I see you. Welcome. I see you guys are sharing love over there. You're sharing between Auntie B and me. I'm jealous. I get jealous. She's going to listen to this later, so it's okay. All right. So I've dropped the link. Let me just go ahead and make sure I pin that to the top. And then we can get started with the conversation. Today, just a few hours ago, I think about 10 hours ago, Yul Edochie announced that he's going to become a man of God. I'm going to play that announcement for you. We're going to review it together. And I want to know your thoughts about it. Okay? I want to know your thoughts about it. Okay? It's going to be fun listening to it. It's about 7 minutes or so, the announcement. He turned out he's going to become a pastor. A few days ago, the ex-husband of his newly wedded wife, his second wife, Yul Edochie is the guy with the red hat on my screen. Okay. Let me just make sure I put. Make sure you hit that like button. Okay. Make sure you hit that like button. Let's keep telling YouTube that we're actually having a conversation here. Okay. Let's see here. Bagava said polygamous pastor. I don't know. Maybe he's changing his mind. Maybe he's changing his mind. Maybe he's going to be a polygamous pastor. Did we see a person last week? A lady who is she's a lesbian and she's becoming a pastor, something like that. I think I saw something like that somewhere. But yeah, he's going to be a polygamous pastor because he hasn't said anything about separating from his quote unquote second wife, Judy Austin. Okay. So who is Yul Edochie? For those of you may be wondering, maybe you're here for the first time, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share with your fellow loved ones. We come over here to talk about relationships. Yes, we leverage the biggest stories out there, the celebrities and stuff like that, to get to, because those are our influencers. So we might as well just chase a little bit of clout. Yes, I said it, and get some lessons out to more people and more people, right? When it comes to relationships. Okay. All right. So Yul Edochie is one of the probably top 10, easily top 10. He can easily sneak into top 10 finest actors out of Nollywood, Nigerian movie industry, which is the second biggest in the world. Second biggest in the world in terms of revenue. Is definitely the largest in the world in terms of volume of products that's coming out of there. Okay. So he's one of the best when it comes to acting. I respect him. I believe him when he's acting. I believe him much more than Ransom Noah when he's acting. Okay. A long time ago, when we started our first channel, my wife and I, that channel was called Gospel According to Tuxby. This was back in 2009. I have history on this platform. Okay. And back then, my wife used to think I'm hating on Ransom Noah. Ransom Noah and Toto DK. I just don't believe them when they're acting. That's just me. Okay, I don't believe what they have to say when they're acting. I don't believe the character is it's all made up. It sounds like, too much discombobulated phonetics all over the place and phonetics. It's just, I don't believe even the acting itself, that's just me, So, yes, we're going to review a couple of videos. We're going to review the video of him announcing that he's going to become a pastor, that he's decided to become a pastor. We're also going to review the video of his new wife's ex-husband putting everything on blast, that she was in fact somebody's wife before, allegedly somebody's wife before Yul Edochie allegedly started sleeping with her, even though the mission was to help her find a job in Nollywood. You know how that goes, right? Again, it's just human beings. Don't act all holy. You will do the same thing if you were in that same position. You will take advantage of that position in one shape, form, or the other. Okay, so don't act all holy there. But we're going to review those two videos. Okay. But before we get into that video, there's an interesting video that I want us to review. Shout out to Davido and Chioma. I pray for God's comfort in their families on the passing of Ifeanyi. That's a topic I can't really dwell too much on. Okay. Personally, when it comes to life and death, I just avoid it. Okay. Because that's beyond you and I, okay? But I did post yesterday on the community page. I asked what were the questions that you probably would typically have right now. There were quite a few questions, So I'm not going to make it a big old grand topic here, okay? I'm not going to do that. However, I still think it's necessary that we talk about some of the questions that came up, a couple of things that came up, and I'm going to share that with you really quickly. Safety, safety first. Just keep that at the back of your mind. Bottom line, right? You can't fix what has happened. I'm just saying as we're moving into the future, right? The other question is that people are asking is neglect or passive. I think if you're asking questions about neglect, if you're too opinionated on the matter of neglect, I think you should ask for forgiveness, because humble yourself. I keep telling you, humble yourself. And no one is above the dangers of this world. It can happen to anyone. You don't know what you don't know, especially when it's life and death issues. Shut the hell up. Shut up. Okay? There's no need to have extremely strong opinions, except it has to do with the rest of us as we move forward. Like for example, safety. Parenting also may be a topic, but it depends on how you form your mouth, how you shape your mouth when you're talking, right? There's a lot of clearly a lot of disrespectful Nigerians out there, and it's kind of sad. I'm going to play a video of one of them for you in a second. Okay. So as far as is it neglect or passive, we don't know. Okay. Who are you to determine if something is neglective or passive? Who is gauging that? What standard are you gauging that on? Again, it's just stupid. It's a stupid talk, right? Spirituality, we don't get to speak to that either. It's personal, right? I know there's a pastor that came out and said he predicted. That's bullshit. If you predicted and it didn't help anything, it's stupid. It's pointless. What's the point of that, right? The other thing is, should you use nannies for your babies? It's a stupid question, okay? People still need a life after they become parents. And you just don't know what you don't know. The other day, some few years back, it was some old woman, grandma, who ended up going to jail here in the United States. Nigerian woman ended up in jail for I think she spanked somebody's kids that she was looking after. You can't judge that. You should just shut up and say God have mercy. Sometimes you just say God have mercy. That's all you really need to say. Many times, as a matter of fact. Shout out to you, Lady Navoa. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. Let's see here. Then we also have CPR training. I completely agree. CPR training for any adult in a house where there's a pool. I agree with that. I'm just pointing this out as measures really quickly before we get into the topic, right? CCTV. The hope is that we never have to go and review CCTV, right? It is what it is. It's for prevention. It's not used to judge people that things have happened to. It's designed for prevention. So that's all I can say about that. There's nothing wrong with CCTV, but you don't bring it up to judge the people that things have happened to, right? So when there's a pool in the house, there's absolutely some safety standards that must be put in place in a society. In Nigeria, we know they break all type of rules and stuff like that, but we don't know what we don't know. But if you're gonna have a pool in your house, in your compound, make sure you're following all the safety measures. But there's no guarantee in life at the end of the day. That's how I'm gonna end that. Except this one video. Let's play this video real quickly.
I have a question to God. I beg this. I don't care what happens to me after this video, but this is too much. We have a God that is called a miraculous God. We have a God that they say he performs miracles. We believe in him. We pray to God. We worship God. We do everything so that at the end of the day we have a justifiable heart that we know where we are going to. But then God will allow things to happen that will not start questioning that. We cannot just let Ifa like that. God perform a miracle. I don't care how you are going to do it. Why is it that you're always allowing the devil to win? Even if that boy is already in the mortuary, God, you can still make a miracle happen. You can still bring that boy out of even the mortuary. God. This is not fair. This is not fair. God, I am questioning you. How can you allow this small boy to? This boy is innocent. Even if the sins of the father is living upon the children, this is too much. This boy is an innocent soul. This boy is a promise. I have a question to God. Please, oh, please, God, do what you will do, God. Wake this boy up. It is in your power. Why are you always allowing the devil to win? Wake this boy up. God, what is all this? Every time people will cry for a loved one, people will cry and you will not do anything. Is it destiny? Destiny, I don't care. What is all this? Jesus. How now? How? This boy can still wake up. You people should stand up and question God. Let us rally against God. It is not, let us protest. We have a miracle God. Then why is it not working miracles? Which one is people who just be people who don't even deserve it wake up from the dead? There's someone that, how can it find it be not possible? I don't believe it. So please, God, do what you will do, God. Wake this boy up. It is in your power. Why are you always allowing the devil to win? Wake this boy up. God, what is all this? Every time people will cry for a loved one, people will cry and you will not do
There you have it. See the ignorance of some people? Join me, let's protest against God. Lady tells Nigerians. You see that ignorance right there? I consider this part of the deterioration of the black man. Okay? This right here is part of the deterioration of the black man all around the world. It doesn't matter if you're continental, if you're on ground, if you're in the diaspora. These are some of the things. Let's train our kids though, so they don't end up on the streets of social media being a clown like this in the future. That's all I can really extract out of that. I'm just gonna respectfully move on from there. Let's go ahead and go into Yul, because I think Yul is much more of the regular us, right? We can make mistakes in life, and you know, it could be anybody. Okay, what Yul is doing is complete confusion, right? I think let me see. Let me just go ahead and play this video, and then we'll take it from there. There's an announcement here, real quickly. Let's see here.
I have a calling to serve God. I have a calling to be a minister of God. I have a calling to be a preacher of God, to be one of God's ministers, to preach the word of God through words and through actions. I've had this calling a long time ago.
All right, let me stay with you. He has a calling of God on his life to be a preacher of God through words and through action. All right. There's no one on this live stream right now. We're about 28 of us here right now. There's no one. Majority of you are Nigerians or Africans. There's none of you. There's no one here that doesn't have a pastor or an evangelist in their family. If you're one person and you don't have an immediate family member, at least a cousin, right, who is a pastor or an evangelist, at least a deacon. No. Let's not add deacon or deaconess. A lady evangelist, a pastor, or a lady or something. Tell me, just signifying that if you don't have at least one person in your family, right? So now we are adding another one to all of these different people that are pastors. Literally, like I'm saying, out of 200 million Nigerians, okay, maybe about 50 million Yoruba people, maybe about 75 Yoruba and Igbo people, there's at least 20 million pastors and evangelists, right? Oh, black people around the world are the same, just in case you don't notice. If you go in the black neighborhood, I'm not in that area as much as I used to be, but there's at least a church on every street too, at least on every major street, at one major avenue. Every Martin Luther King Boulevard in the nation has a church on it. 1, 2, or 3 churches. The church is not the problem. I'll let you figure out what the problem is. But let's continue. Now we're having Yul Edochie as one of our pastors. Let's continue.
Actually, many years ago. But
he got his calling many years ago.
I always felt maybe the time hadn't come, the time wasn't right. But now it's very strong, I feel the time has come.
Oh, it's very strong right now, right? Is it possible that when you are surrounded by night vigil on every other streets, eh, right? Every other night, is it possible that naturally you're going to feel like you got some kind of calling? Is it possible that when you mix that together with confusion in your personal life, maybe you're trying to arrange your life no balance somehow? Is it possible that when you align that together that you just hit 40? That, maybe there's a calling on my life. There's no other calling in this life. It must be on the pulpit, right? It has to be on the pulpit. Anyway, let's keep going.
Yes, the time has come. God has blessed me in this life. By the grace of God, I've become.
First of all, I agree with that part, that God has blessed him. I agree with that. The question is that, does he really believe that? Does he really believe that God has blessed him? Because what I find is that a lot of Nigerians will use all of the lingos, the church lingos, but they don't really believe it. Why am I saying that? Because their actions don't match what they're saying. That's why I'm saying that. So, and I want to believe that they mean well. So because of that, I'm left to say, okay, they just don't believe what they're saying. They're trying to believe it. They're trying to convince themselves that they believe what they're saying. Shout out to Nana Jabi. Good to see you. It's the first time I'm seeing your name. Pardon me, I may be wrong, but good to see you. Let him be so that he can deliver himself from polygamy, because Yul Edochie needs deliverance. Now you say that too. But God said that this his voice will always make me see him as his character of a ritualist prince. Let's see. Me, I'll just say Baba wants to trend again. You think so? Maybe. Because trending does come with certain amount of money. So maybe, but I actually believe him. I believe that he's confused. Okay. So let's keep going.
One of the biggest, most celebrated actor in the continent of Africa. Also one of
100%.
In Africa, in Nigeria, God has taken me to, the very top, to a very high point in my career. But I'm starting to realize that God lifted me, as an actor to where I am.
All right. So let's talk about this really quickly, right? Aluya, good to see you, Aluya. She says, I'm just gonna assume she, correct me if I'm wrong, was the calling before the presidential bid? Exactly. He made an announcement just like less than a year ago, right? Just before the whole he's marrying his second wife thing, right? That he's running for president, right? So are you understanding what I mean by confusion, right? Listen. Sometimes we're confused about our journey in life. Listen, sometimes as a man, when you go through certain things, listen, I can relate. That's why I'm talking, okay? Sometimes you're just confused. It's not, there's a cloud. So you don't feel fulfilled, right? And so I'm forced to conclude that this young man is confused, and it's okay. At 40, I think it's okay that you get into a junction in your life and you're trying to figure things out. To the point that, yes, you might end up sleeping with somebody's wife mistakenly. Okay, I take it back. Ladies, I'm sorry, okay? Not mistakenly, but you get the gist, right? As in, like, you find yourself having to explain it as mistakenly later on. You will believe that it's a mistake because you really, even though it's not a mistake, it was a choice, you will just, somehow you're like, I don't remember making that decision. I don't remember contemplating. I don't remember, making this decision to do. It just happened. I fell into it. Anyway, you get the gist, right? Let's keep going.
So that I can, become one of his ministers. So that I can use that fame, that the fame and fortune, use the status, use the global reach that I have to preach the word of God. I feel that's the whole essence of me being
Famous?
very popular, very celebrated,
Famous?
as an actor,
Oh,
with lots and lots of fans, millions.
it does have a lot of fan, okay? I'm a fan of his work. I like his acting, right? Now, our Lord is not mocked. Lie. Shout out to you, Rosalind. Lie, our Lord is never mocked, right? We can mock ourselves. Somebody said, Bagaba said, shit, this is our Niger version of Kanye. No, Kanye's skunk is another level entirely. Let's not be disrespectful to you, He mistakenly married a second wife. That's not Kanye. That's another level entirely, He is confused, 100%.
Millions of fans all over the world, Nigeria and Africa and beyond. I feel that's it.
What they try to do sometimes is that they'll come out and they say something like, oh, it's intentional. I'm just trying to chase clout. There was this guy, I'm not sure. I know you guys don't really see American celebrities like that. I could see in my numbers, So maybe I'll find ways to plug them. There's this guy, I watched this interview yesterday, Antonio Brown. I think it was a an American footballer, right? And he happens to be the president of Donda, which is Donda Sports, a company of Kanye, right? And if you see that person talk, these people's level of skunk is another level. Let's not even, we have skunk too, right? But this Yul Edochie doesn't have skunk. It's a regular man who mistakenly fell into Kerewa, and he tried to flip it into a second wife, and it's not working out too well for him because, again, the ex-husband of the quote-unquote new wife has come out and say, maybe na me even get the pikin, So there's a question of DNA now, which I see a lot of speculation out there. We're not going to touch too much on that, but I like to hear what they're saying, and then what they're saying is the reality of what's coming out of their brain, right? So as opposed to me making up assumptions or speculating about them, let's just hear what he has to say. Right now, at this point in time, after just a few days ago, the ex-husband of the newly wedded wife is coming out to say, hey, God, maybe you should do DNA, right? A DNA test. Suddenly, he's confused. He's no longer taking on a presidential bid. He's now going to become a pastor. Let's keep going.
I think I've found my purpose in life, and my purpose is to be a minister of God, to make the world a better place, to make humanity a better place, to touch lives through actions, through words, to reach out to people, make people better, in any way I can, and to be a soldier of God. That's my calling, that's my calling, and I'm happy that I've come to terms with it. I had an accident.
Don't act like you're not teary-eyed right now. He's about to tell us a short story.
I had an accident sometime in 2019, and I heard that little voice that said to me, it's over. If there's anything you want to do, sorry, you can't do it anymore, it's over. And then my system shut down. But after the car finished tumbling, it was as if life came back to my body, and I could tell that I was given a second chance. And as the days went by, I began.
We're all about second chances here, the Prestige family, right? Right? We're all about second chances, third chances, fourth chances, 70 by 7 chances, right? 100 and what? 49? Is that the number? No. What's the number? 490, right? 440, 490 times chances, right? And even beyond, right? So, hey, maybe he's right, you know? Let me tell you the funny thing about this. Two things can be true at the same time, okay? I think he's confused, but I also believe him, okay? Two things can be true at the same time. I think he's confused, but I also believe him. I believe he means this. Now, he says, if you notice, he's saying, I feel. What do you know about feelings? They're temporary, right? It's just a feeling you feel right now. I feel a sense, a power coming over me. I turn on the camera, I talk about it tomorrow, I may feel a little bit differently, right? So don't hold his feet too much to the fire. Let's keep going.
To realize why I got that second chance. And the reason I got that second chance is to be a minister of God, to touch lives. The first part of my life, I have lived it. I've lived the first part of my life. I've made my mark. I started very early, so I made my mark very early. I mean, the whole world already knows that a guy named Yul Edochie came here. So the remaining part of my life now will be dedicated to the Word of God, to be dedicated to preaching.
Nigerians, especially the Nigerians here right now, don't act like you're not a little teary-eyed right now, especially with that deep voice. It sounds like God is actually speaking to you, doesn't it? Right? Nigerians are suckers for anything God. Anytime you say God, Nigerians go just wake up, Jim, my body. He must be telling the truth. Listen, remember what I just said. I believe him, okay? But I also believe he's confused. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just trying to point out something here, that there's some things aligning in the stories here. Starting from trying to be a president, coming out and announcing that, hey, I got a new baby. It just so happened to have come from my second wife. Then suddenly some ex-husband out of nowhere shows up. That's got to be confusing. Let's not cap. Let's not cap, right? That's got to be confusing.
The gospel of God, preaching the word of God, preaching the gospel, and reaching out to people to spread the good message of Jesus Christ, which for me is love, and more, and so much more. And I have totally accepted it. I know that I have a calling. I have a calling to serve God. I have a calling to be a minister of God. I have a calling to be a soldier of God, a preacher of God's word through actions and through words. So, yeah, that's it. With everything in me, I'm going to be doing the work of God.
Somebody is falling under the spirit right now. Let's see. Nana says, my sister, please go and ask for forgiveness, because this your angered will lead you to something else. Although you said you don't care. May God have mercy. Oh, okay. She's watching it backwards, I guess. Maybe she paused and came back. Premature midlife crisis. 40 is that age. 35, 40-ish, 45-ish. Yeah. Good to see you, Eunice. Good to see you, Eunice. Welcome. And I also see Yvette. Good to see you, Yvette. In 2019, please, who is he trying to fool this time? Let's see. Yeah, not me, but I don't think he's trying to fool anyone. A lot of people believe that. A lot of people believe he's trying to fool a lot of people believe he's trying to just chase additional clout. I've seen, the Antonio Brown example I gave earlier, people, he said, oh, I'm just trying to get you all to think like, no, this is you. Same thing with Kanye West. He's a genius. He knows exactly what he's doing. No. He might know what he's doing. That can be true. At the same time, he's lame and he doesn't understand how this whole thing works. You know, but sometimes money just the misroad. Money fell in the wrong lap. You know, if your gift makes ways for you, right? If you're very talented, like the Yul Edochie, like Kanye West, Anthony Brown, if you're talented, the gift is more than enough to make ways for you. But the day you break legs, you know, it can be a wrap. Because you'd never really had the business acumen to know how to talk in public, to know how to do business negotiation skills and things like that. And yeah, there are many talented people who give that are broke after making a lot of money. Because money is no respecter, right? Yul has no moral authority to preach God's word. It depends. Whose moral standard are you talking about, Eunice? Right? There are many different types of moral standards out there. The only thing he did right now that anyone can consider wrong is impregnating a person, completely consensual, and decide to marry the person as a second wife, right? Who knows, right? So it depends on what moral standard you're looking at. Loving several women, you mean? Who knows? Who will be Mommy Gio, Mary or Judy? Hallelujah said Team Judy. Jesus, that's vicious.
Yes, this is October 2022, and I accept my calling. Yes, I accept my calling.
You know you felt that.
Of course, I won't stop doing films.
You felt that.
I'll always be an actor. I'll always do.
That's the best news.
My work.
That's the
my
best
career,
news.
of course. And at the same time, I'll be using my career to preach the word. You know, just as I've always done over the years. I've always done a lot of movies that people can watch and learn a lot from. You know, so I'll be doing more of that for my fans. I don't think I'm leaving your screen anytime soon. No. I'm still going to be acting and doing my stuff, but I'll be bringing the word of God to you as much as I can. I'm preaching the wonderful gospel of God as much as I can. Thank you, and God bless you.
All right. What do you all think? Do you believe him? I believe him. But I also believe he's confused. Those are two things that can be true at the same time, right? But the reason why we're bringing him up today is because there are 5 lessons. Because again, when a man is confused, he's trying to control narrative. He's trying to... The one thing that I believe make ways for us, I think there's a scripture, but Patrick can help me with that. There's a scripture that talks about your gift make ways for you, right? When you do what you love, right, you never have to work a day in your life, right? That's a fact of life, you know. But sometimes people try to force themselves into this zone where it's not natural, where it's not who you are, right? Then you have to work hard. It's not sustainable. Usually, if anything happens to you, it's over. It's a wrap. But when it's about your gift, so personally, I think the best news about this video is the fact that he's going to continue to do what he does. Okay? Some people are mad enough to leave what they do and go try to force themselves into a world because they are confused in a moment. So there are 5 lessons I want to share with him, because when it comes to polygamy, he tried to squeeze it in, but it's failing him woefully. And I think, I think OONI has gone through his own fair share. And I think I want to talk about some of the things that happened there. You can grab the free book at www.getmymarriageback.com. It's my wife and myself story. We have our own story too. No one is perfect. No one is perfect. If you see anything that looks like couple goals, they've done the work. That's what it is. So we have our own story. If you want that full-blown story, it's a 175 pages book, and you can go to getmymarriageback.com and download it for free. This book right here. See? It's not a pamphlet. It's full blown. Okay. All right. So it's 8 years worth of stories. Minimum of 8 years. Okay. All right. So in the last few days, the ex-husband of his new wife came out, and he has something to say. I'm going to play that video for you right now. Oh, by the way, we do offer coaching too if you want more of hands-on. But you will find link to all of that when you go through the book. Okay. All right. So let's dive in through this video. Let's see here. So you're just going to hear the audio. Then we'll take it from there, okay?
Everything belonging to me and them, everything, they exhausted the whole flat, nothing remained. I made away with it. After I came back from where I went, and I meet my house empty. I call her on phone. What is going on? Did you?
All right, so let me set this up properly, okay? Let's set this up properly. Hey, Lydia, good to see you, Lydia. Lydia said, you're a joker. Oh, don't say that, too. Only God knows, so. You think he's trying to remain relevant? Maybe, But I think yesterday, let me debunk that really quickly. Yesterday, there was a free news for him to stay relevant. He didn't have to say he wants to become a pastor today. I don't think he had to say that, because just yesterday, this video I'm playing right now, the ex-husband of his new wife, right? So that's what you're listening to. And he just said one day he came to the house and then she was gone. That's Judy was gone. That's the new wife, right? So listen carefully. Let's keep going.
Did you came to Mpo and she said yes, she's the one that did it. What is the problem? She said for the fact that I say that she cannot live at Enugu, so for that I'm not interested in the marriage. There is so many people that is interested. I don't even know how beautiful she is or something of that. I took that case to their family member, which I defeated her. Nothing. I have never for a day.
All right, so let me just tell you right now. One of the problems with Nigerian society is this whole taking things to family members. Okay? We always go over it very quickly like it's some kind of good thing to do or it's harmless. I'm telling you right now, for the most part, bringing your marriage issues to family members, either passively, actively to report, to whatever it is, it's always negative. The outcome is always negative. Okay? This has nothing to do with if they have good intentions or not. I actually believe that for the most part, they all have good intentions. Nonetheless, the outcome is negative. I want you to keep this at the back of your mind that as humans, our intention is like, that factor that you have good intentions, like, you can have good intentions, you can create bad outcome all the time. You've seen this play out all the time. So you came home, you didn't find your wife. She had moved because she said, yes, I moved all my stuff. She says she wants to live in Enugu and not in some random village somewhere. The first thing you do is you go and talk to family members, Bad idea. Let's just go and tell her father. Let's just tell her father. Just to, that's a bad idea. That's always a bad idea. Okay? So I'm going to rewind it small so you can hear that part again. You're going to lose your wife to people like y'all. I know. At this point, I'm supposed to be judging y'all. Right? Listen, it's a marketplace. There's always competition. I'm sorry. Okay? So if you're still counting on duty and responsibility, your wife is just supposed to stay there because she's just supposed to do the right thing. Last, it go shock you. Because there are people like Yul Edochie out there. For whatever reasons, maybe they're playing their cards right, or maybe they're just F boys, whatever it is, right? I know, it sounds terrible, I know, but I'm just telling you the fact of life, okay? There's always this active competition. It's not something I want you to think about all the time because that will also create insecurity, okay? But from a place of awareness, like you take care of your husband, take care of your wife, take care of your significant others. Always stay in a position where you can bring value to the people you're in relationship with, right? Because there's always somebody competing for their attention. It doesn't have to be romantic relationships only. It could be even siblings to siblings, right? So if these are people you value, make sure you're pouring into them, okay? And make sure you're aware that it's not just about good intentions, okay? There's an active game that you're playing. You can choose to learn how to play it, or you can act like, oh, there's no game. You know, such thing as game. People should just do the right thing. That's called la la land. That's called you're living in the fantasy, okay? Human beings only give a shit about their feelings at the end of the day. So even when it's wrong and it feels right, they're going to do what's wrong. It sounds terrible, I know. But let's continue, okay?
Or something of that started. I took that case to their family member.
He took the case to their family member,
which I defeated her. Nothing. I have never for a day beat her. I have never for a day shout on her.
All right. There you have it. There are a lot of men walking around the streets talking about I've never laid my hands on her, and somehow that should be what's the word I'm looking for? Now you should get some candy because you've never laid your hands on her. Bro, shout out to you. Congratulations, you never laid your hands on her. You're not supposed to. There's more to it. Okay, I know, I'm sorry. There is more to it, okay? It's not enough that you never laid your hands. Just the very fact that he's saying these things and that's supposed to be some form of a reason why she should never leave tells me a lot more. Tells me a lot more about what kind of husband it was. He was thinking that I'm a good guy, so she should have never left. This is how Mr. Nice Guys talk. Is the unrealistic expectation part, right? Okay. They're a good guy and they think that should be enough, right? So they don't, like, even if you look at the way he's talking, it seems like it's a guy who wants to do the right thing, but he doesn't realize that there's more to it, right? Does that exonerate his wife? No, it doesn't. I'm telling you, you're the one talking. I'm only addressing whoever is talking at any point in time. Because personally, I haven't even heard Judy say anything. I just don't go look for it. I'm not looking for it, right? But based on what you're saying to me, I get to analyze what you're saying and I can basically read where your mindset is. It's a mindset thing. You're not necessarily wrong, but this mindset is going to create the wrong outcome for you. So if you're a man and every time something happens, you run to her family member to go and report her, you're creating more damages. Sometimes in the temporary, that's going to feel like you're doing the right thing. Maybe they were able to talk to her and say, okay, everything is settled. No, it's not. It's resentment, small, that's settled in there, right? It's going to become another ejò later on, okay? And it's going to become worse, okay? So the point I'm saying here, I really need to drive home here. Don't be so quick to go and report your spouse to family members. They mean well. It is not enough that they mean well, okay? The outcome is always going to be bad. I know I just used the word always, okay? For the most part, it's going to be bad. Some of you can relate to what I'm saying. You've seen the outcome of reporting your significant other to your family member, either to your family or to his family, or vice versa, right? You've seen what I'm talking about. They mean well, but there's at least one of the parties that would take an offense to something that was said. Oftentimes, they won't even complain about it in the moment, but they will hold on to it on their left hand, right? Let's keep going.
Nobody in our area knows that I'm facing so many trouble secretly because of how I behave myself. With the time, one of their elderly man try as much as possible to settle our matter, which finally the family disagree with the man. I don't know that they have plans to move on with the Yul Edochie. All they did is they started.
All right, so I don't know if you heard that. I don't know. I guess he wanted to say, I didn't know that he had plans to move on with Yul Edochie. All right, that right there is a sign of an insecure man to me. Okay, listen, remember that. let me just get my sound effects in place because I'm gonna need this. Okay, all right, I'm gonna need this.
Oh, you're right.
Remember that you're not necessarily wrong. I am talking about your mindset at the end of the day. At the end of the day, not day, right? At the end of the day, I'm talking about the mindset. This mindset of being afraid that somebody else may be taking your wife, you're going to attract what you fear the most. Yeah. So the fact that he actually brought it up in his narration of I didn't know that they had plans to move on. As a man, I know it's difficult once you're insecure, right? Once you're in that place of insecurity, it's very difficult, but it's something that you have to be aware of, something you have to be intentional about. I don't care if somebody's already taking your wife away. The last thing you want to ever do is talk about another man. Like, don't bring it up. Don't talk about it. May the best man win. If they're taking your wife, it is what it is. It's the reality. It's your reality. It's sad. Something was missing. Maybe it's actually a good thing that's happening. Maybe she doesn't belong in your world. Maybe you deserve better. But the last thing you ever want to do is put your focus on another man. It's a sign of weakness. Hey, let me do a quick shout out to that super chat. That super sticker. J Bones, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you. Please, I need 3 people to match J Bones. Okay, your support is highly appreciated anytime. Okay, thank you so much for that, J Bones. Day 1, of course. I'm watching this live from Sierra Leone. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Sierra Leone. Thank you so much for plugging in. Thank you. All right, so yes, I know it's difficult. Like I said, it's difficult when you know that somebody is in your wife's DM or they're already getting their attention and they're a superstar, especially. You want to put them on blast. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's only going to get worse. Okay? It's only going to, because it's going to take away from your, it's a sign that you're timid. Another sign of Mr. Nice Guys. They have unrealistic expectations attached to their goodness, to how good they are. Right? Let's keep going. Let me have this.
Disagree with the man. I don't know that they have plans to move on with the Yul Edochie.
This is the moment you're supposed to feel sorry for him. Oh, I am sure there's a lot of women feeling sorry for him right now. That's not what you want. You don't want women feeling sorry for you, okay? Gentlemen, you don't want women feeling sorry for you. Let me say louder. You don't want women feeling sorry for you. The outcome of that is not good, okay? It's not sustainable. In a moment, it's fine. A woman can hear your story and have empathy for you, whatever, right? But ultimately, it's not a good thing that a woman feels sorry for you. That's a sign of weakness. She can't trust you. The women in your life can't trust your core if they have to feel sorry for you. Again, as a temporary thing, there's nothing wrong with it. As a passing, something going on in passing, there's nothing wrong with that, right? As a consistent thing, as a video that you're going to plant around the internet that will be there for life, there's nothing good about a woman feeling sorry for you. It's a sign of weakness. Particularly when we're talking about romantic, emotional matters, issues, and stuff like that. As in, like, nothing done by you, nothing touched you physically. There's no physical assault. We're talking emotionally wise. You've narrated a story and women start to feel sorry for you. There's nothing good in it. Okay? There's nothing good in it. It's a sign of, there's some type of weakness going on in there. And women can never, they might feel sorry for you, they can never respect that. Why? They should just respect it, dude. It's not deliberate. It's not a decision. Okay? It's just not. Okay?
All they did is they started pushing me. I should come and collect my bride price. I should come and collect my bride price. Like jokes. They will go and put it at the welfare. They will go and put it at court. I called them, so I will come and collect my bride price, which I did. That was 2013. I collected my bride price. Then, the same 2013, she now go to human rights at Onitsha. She go to human rights and invite me, which I went. And after the human rights heard our story, they dismissed her from the court. I defeated her. She started running. Any day we have an appointment there, she will not come. She will send the lawyer. With the time, I didn't say lawyer, I didn't say her.
All right, so it's very, you're going to see a lot of this, okay? If a woman can send lawyers to go and represent them at the court, they will do exactly that. They probably just don't want to be in your presence, okay? They're not interested anymore. They've moved on. Are they doing the right thing? No, they could be wrong. It could be wrong. It doesn't change the reality, right? But it's something you should just be aware of, right? Again, all of this, Eunice says, is only human, not a Superman. Yeah. You'll be forced to be a Superman after you get dragged through the streets by your woman, right? Then you wake up and say, oh, I guess I need to be Superman. No, you don't have to be a Superman. As a matter of fact, what I'm asking for a lot of people to do is to not be Superman, okay? In fact, what Mr. Nice Guys try to be is a Superman. They try to make everybody happy. That's actually what they try to do. It's not sustainable. That's precisely what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that it should be human, right? But again, it sounds like I'm asking him to be superhuman because we're talking about emotional matters, right? How would that relate to what we're talking about? Is his children. Let's be honest. We're talking about your children. If you're a man who wants to be there for his children, Ola is not being fair right now. Ola is not making sense right now. I want to be there for my children. It's not fair that somebody that I had children with would literally take my children across state lines and drag me through the muds of government agencies, human rights agencies, children, whatever, civil courts, family court, all this kind of stuff. It's not fair. Welcome to the real world. In love and war, all is fair. I need you to let that settle in. In love and war, all is fair. Gentlemen, especially, you need to really write that down. All is fair. So you two can play that game right now. What game am I talking about? I'm not asking you to go harm somebody else. I'm saying you need to learn how to negotiate within the context of the cards you're dealt. There's no other way. You can try this other way, which is announced to the rest of the world and see, I get a bunch of women sympathizing with you. You're wasting time. it's going to get worse. You have to still go back to the negotiation table, because in love and war, all is fair. You can destroy a bunch of casualties, time, before you come back to the real truth, which is you still have to negotiate. Okay? It's gonna be hard. It's going to feel unfair. Especially when your wife dumped you for a superstar like Yul. Why am I not showing Yul on the screen right now? Because as hard as it is, he's the superstar in this story. OONI of IFE still has 5 lessons for him, okay? Because he's terrible at this game too. This is going to backfire for him too. So he's definitely not exonerated. There's no amount of announcement of being a pastor that will exonerate him. Right? But let's keep going. Let's get through this video.
Both of them run away. I now move on my own to welfare Ogidi. The welfare people invited her 7 good times. They did not show up. Till the day the welfare decided to go with me to their village. We went there and they fought us. They started fighting us here and there. We moved away and the welfare told me that we should go to police station and bring their police, which we did. Finally.
All right, so clearly he's been disconnected from his kids. Again, I'm coming off as very unfair, right? If somebody blocks you, they block you by phone, you don't know where your kids are, what should you do, right? What should you do? I'll tell you right now, the worst case scenario, if this was me, worst case scenario is I don't know where my kids are. If I don't know where my kids are, I am filing a police report for kidnapping. Okay? That's just the first step. Okay? That's the first step. Okay? I'm definitely filing for... If I don't know where my kids... It's a different ball game if somebody file a restraining order, I can't access them or something, but I know where they are, right? Then I have to go back to court and fight to remove such restraining order. But I don't know where my kids are. I'm declaring kidnapping until they dig them out of where they are. Then I will hopefully find where they are. However long it's going to take, that's what it's going to take. It's going to feel very unfair because, again, I could be living my life, enjoying life, not worrying about my kids being in a place where I don't know if they're alive or dead, right? It's tough. When you do business with the devil, remember what I was saying to Kanye West yesterday. When you do business with the devil, there's a price for it. There's consequences. Who is the devil now? I guess Judy, right? I mean, any woman who will actively take a man's children when he actually wants to be in their life, I mean, we can call that being that's the devil definitely using that person. There's nothing good for the kids in that kind of scenario. There's nothing good in that, right? But again, we don't know the full story. I'm just listening to what he's saying, and I can hear a lot of loopholes and very, very terrible moves already, right? I'm not going to the welfare or human rights if I don't know where my kids are. I'm going straight to the police station, okay? Because I don't know where my kids are, right? I don't know how to reach my kids. That's what I'm talking about. If I know how to reach my kids, I have access to them somehow, some way, then, you know, then it's a matter of negotiations. Learn negotiation skills. It will be necessary. Okay? Not only in this particular scenario, but in everything else in life. You will find that skill set extremely useful.
In everything, they told that witch that she cannot deny me access to my children, that I will be seeing my children anytime I want them to be with me. It's not enough for me. I went to customary court room, then the very day we about to hear our voice, she come up with the 2 lawyers, and the 2 lawyers started having problem with each other. The magistrate now tell them to go and settle themselves outside. When they sort themselves, that she would now come in. with the time, the two lawyers cannot be able to sort themselves. Then the magistrate now jump to another matter. After the magistrate give us another date for hearing, it happened that coincidentally that was when judiciary went on strike that lasted for 8 months. That is how the case was abandoned.
The case was abandoned. Again, another reason to feel like this is completely unfair. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens if you're not able to keep your home together, even if it's not your fault. It's just a reality, okay? This is why if you're still in a place where you can put some effort in and keep your home together, this is the price when you don't do so, right? This is the downside of not doing everything in your power to keep your home together. If you can't keep your home together, it's only fair that the government agencies will help you in the best way they know how to, even when there's strikes, even when there's, people don't work and then they abandon the case, or a pandemic happens. There's too many stories like that out there, right? This is why you have to do everything. This is the lesson, okay? This is another lesson. This is the reason why you have to do everything within your power, as long as you're not pouring from an empty cup. Because if you are pouring from an empty cup, it will backfire too, right? Do everything within your power to keep your home together. There's nothing out there on the streets. There's nothing on the streets for anyone. The streets have no mercy on anyone. I don't care if you're a woman or a man. If you're a man, it's worse for you. Okay? Yoruba people say, "Owani langbe laruge." Whatever value you found in that person that made you get with them in the first place, re-identify that value and then celebrate it. And then you will notice that it has a tendency to spread to every other areas that you may have pain in, right? And if you feel like, no, it's just undoable, then you need to learn negotiation skill sets. Because if you don't know how to negotiate, the government agencies will mediate for you the best they know how to. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. Okay? They're not really going to listen to the social media rhetorics. You're going to get dragged through that mug.
But I'll be able to see my children that time, taking them out, chatting with them, playing with them. But it's happened that since all this rumor about Yul Edochie started, she now go to Umo.
If you notice, he keeps bringing up Yul Edochie. It doesn't have to be a celebrity like Yul Edochie. It could be another man. It's always a bad idea to bring up another man. It's just always a bad idea, period. Okay? One day I will break that down, okay? But if you can see far, like I can see, it's always a bad idea, okay? The person you have business with is Judy. You need to have self-control and stay focused on Judy, okay? Hey, Mary, good to see you, Mary. Bagava says, but with the horrible law enforcement in Nigeria, will kidnapping report work? It will work as far as it will work. Again, you have to use the cards you're dealt, right? Again, it sounds unfair, right? That's why you see people, they do protests, right? When the court fails, they continue to do protests. They continue to agitate. That's why they continue to do that. It's a process. You may die in the middle of doing it. Sounds horrible, right? It's the reality. So you have to use the cards you're dealt. What I'm saying is that if I don't know where my kids are, whatever is kidnapping, whatever the worst case report is, whatever I would normally file when I have a missing family member, that's exactly what I'm going to do within the cards that I'm being dealt. Okay? I think if you didn't know where the kids were and you run to social media, right? And you keep talking about it right now, I think it might actually get worse. based off of what you just said. That's society. Because they can get away with it, right? It will just be another story before tomorrow comes with, we'll be telling another story, right? So I don't know, I don't know, to be honest with you. But what I can tell you is this, right? Coming to social media does not make things easier. That part I can tell you for sure. You want to do everything in your power, within your power, to use negotiation, no matter how long it takes. And stop telling yourself that something is not fair as a man. Because when you feel like something is not fair, you lose self-control. You feel like somebody's taking advantage of you. You're not able to negotiate. Right? You're just you become all over the place, like Yul himself. Right? But when you see that all is fair in love and war, you see, okay, this is another war that I have to fight. Then you bring some strategy to the table. You're more strategic with that mindset. It's a mindset. You're more strategic with that mindset. As opposed to, let me just do whatever. Don't do whatever. Okay? Don't use anger unless you're the one leading the people that are angry. Don't use that. It will work against you. Likely to work against you. Okay? Hey, Just Jay, good to see you. Let's get to the rest of this video.
And
we got 5 lessons that OONI of Ife has to share with Yul Edochie, okay, in terms of polygamy. Okay, as far as we know right now, the OONI of Ife is making it work. He's only 2-3 weeks into it, so hey, maybe there's a lesson somewhere in there for Yul, right? Because Yul is an aspiring polygamist, right?
Children away from homage. After
there was a call that came in right there.
keeping them away from homage, I be hearing from them, but I have seek to see them so many times. I'm not dragging those children with her, but where will I come to Enugu and stay so that you will bring them to me, so I will see them one-on-one?
These are conversations that needs to be had with either Judy or somebody who has access to Judy. Oh, but he doesn't have access to Judy. No, he knows someone that knows Judy, that have access to Judy. It needs to be a consistent thing, right? Oh yeah, Ola, you're the same guy that says you shouldn't go to family member. Again, strategy, right? Strategy. You identify the goal. What is the goal? What's the objective here? You want to see your kids? There's some cards you're dealt with. You have to assess everything. Don't be so quick to rush to any one angle, right? Because there's multiple ways to get to the same objective, right? But my point is, don't be so quick. In general, when something has happened, what I said earlier is something happened between you and your spouse. The worst people you can run to is family members to go and report them. That's what I said. When your children, you don't know where to find your children, going to family members and saying, hey, I don't know where the kids are. That's not what I said. Okay? That's something viable. That's a great place to start from. Hey, I want to share something with you. I'm trying to be, I want to make it, because, as a father, I want to see my kids. Can you help me? I need access to the kids. Judy is not lit. Again, it's a conversation. It's a lot of patience. It's going to be a lot of moments you feel like it's not fair. Even when you are the one that's wrong, you will still feel like things are not fair. Don't act like you don't know what I just said. Even when you're clearly the one that's wrong, sometimes you feel like things are not fair. Okay? So those are two different things. It's already too bad. She already left with the kids. You don't have access to your kids. Have you spoken to a few closer people to her? Or wait, or did you get married to a person that you're not close, at least friends with somebody that's close to them? Or she just completely abandoned her family and moved to Nollywood, wherever that is. Enugu, right? Exactly what are we talking about? There's too many variables for me to believe that there are no other options than to run to social media. especially when Yul Edochie is hot in the news. And I'm supposed to believe that, oh, it's just a guy who is trying to do the right thing. He wants to see his kids. Like, nah, stop the cap.
She started denying me access to that. Till last year, November 4th, that I did my funeral ceremony of my mother. I call her to give me an access to my children so that they will witness what is going on there. She did not show up.
She's probably very bitter. She's probably extremely angry with him. She's probably just an evil person, right? Mary Uzo says, I think he was mentioning Yul as the reason of Judy's behavior. Even worse. She's an adult, right? That's even worse, right? Which I personally believe is justified to. Oh, yeah. Speaking of justification, you know what time it is, right? Speaking of
You're right.
Reality doesn't care about justified. I'm sorry. Not especially for men. It just doesn't. The beautiful, chaotic, feminine energy of Mother Nature does not give a shit about who is justified, who is right, or who is wrong. It just doesn't. The more entangled up, the more obsessed with the need to be right, the more, obsessed, the worse it's gonna get for you. Because there's a game here, and you refuse to learn the skills. You just want to be right. You think everybody just because they want to do the right thing, do the right thing. That's not how it works. That's not real life. I'm sorry. So you're right, Mary. But as you can see, it's not working out for my guy.
But after that rumor started to trend everywhere that Yul Edochie has married a second wife, I have not been able to hear from my children anymore. I don't know whether they are dead or alive till date. Anytime I call her, she will just tell me, who am I to them? Who am I to them?
Oh, wait. So is she picking up the phone or she's not picking up the phone? Which one is it? Because she's saying she's sending a message through somebody or through herself, or she's picking up the phone and she's saying, who are you to them? If she's having a conversation with you by any means, what you do with that medium is everything at that point in time. If you overreact, of course, if you overreact in that conversation, he won't tell us that part of the story, right? Because remember, he's going to paint himself as the good guy. That's what Mr. Nice Guys do, right? It's not what happened. How did you respond to that? When she said, who are you to them? How do you respond to that? Was this an active argument going on between you and her? Or was this, you were just quiet and she just kept saying that? How did you participate? I want to know exactly, how did you participate in that conversation? Or were you on the phone call and say, it's because of that stupid guy, Yul, that you don't pick up my phone anymore? Oh, remember what I said. The more you bring up Yul's name, the worse it's going to get for you. God, she's resenting you actively, even if you're right, even if it's the truth.
So that is why I now come out to voice out so that everybody will hear from me. Because all I invested on her, the only profit I have is those children. Denying me access to those children disorganized me so much in everything I'm doing. Anytime I remember it, I've been disorganized.
Is she wrong for denying him access to those children?
You're right.
She's absolutely wrong. She is absolutely wrong. But who is going to tell her, bye? Who's going to tell her? Hey, Glamola, good to see you. Judy, Let him see his children. Ladies, Lamola has a message for you. Don't play this game. You're hurting the children. In the time being, you may be able to drag this guy through the mud. But you're hurting those children effectively when you do such behavior. Mary said, not Kamala, I get your point. Kamala always have my back. I just want us to think a little bit deeper, right? Than the usual right or wrong and what people should, would have, could have done. Every time you say somebody should do something, right? Every time you say somebody should, remember you learned that from here. Every time you say somebody should do something.
You're right.
The same thing is true for when you said they could have done something. You're also right. I mean, maybe not opinion, right? They would have done something. They could have done something. They should have done something. All of that stuff is cute. And you're right. My own job is to point out this is the reality. These are the intricacies. This is the point A, this is point B, this is all the possibility in between. The character can absolutely die in between 2 points. All right? That's how this world works, right? So how do you mitigate all those different risks is basically what I'm here to point out, right? Like, for example, a man, let me switch from the other. I feel sorry for him. But when I heard a few things he said, I'm like, I could hear all in between the lines. He was a terrible husband, okay? Yes, I just judged. Yes, I just generalized, whatever you want to call it, right? But there was too many signs for me to just know that, oh, it's no wonder this girl run away from this guy. But even worse, if she was a bad, evil person as he claims, that's the more reason why she will run away from him, right? So that's beside the point. Let's get back to Yul Edochie. He wanted to normalize, him and his brother, they wanted to normalize polygamy. So let's see if we can help them. There's somebody that's been practicing it for 2-3 weeks so far, right? So let's see some lessons maybe he could learn from, from Alayelua, Ikuba Bayeye, the OONI of Ife, So a couple of lessons that I've extracted here, that for every man out there who is fantasizing about polygamy, right? How dare you? What makes you think you can teach polygamy? Do you practice polygamy? You're right. I don't practice polygamy. But I'm just a suggestion, right? That you may want to pay attention to when you want to approach polygamy. Let's start from lesson number 5. Let's count it down to lesson number 1. Okay? Lesson number 5. You do not owe the public a shalaye. If you want to do polygamy, right? I mean, did you see OONI of Ife explaining himself to anybody? They carry the news everywhere. They're talking about it on every blog, right? I think he's married his 6th wife or something like that. I'm not sure, right? First step, okay? This is the first mistake that he made. You don't owe the public a shalaye. You don't have to mansplain yourself. The fact that you feel the need to explain yourself tells me that you're not doing this with your full chest. You're trying to cover something. You're trying to control the narrative. And that's always going to backfire because you just can't win that game. The only game you can win in life is being yourself with some room for growth. Okay? Allow room for growth. Don't say I'm being myself and no one can tell you that you're wrong, right? Allow room for potentially, maybe there's something you're missing, maybe you can grow. But ultimately, be yourself with your full chest without the need to mansplain. Explain yourself, right? The more you explain yourself, you're giving ammunitions to the public to crucify you. That's lesson number 5. From the OONI. OONI didn't say it, it's allegedly, okay? Lesson number 4. Okay, based off of this audio we just listened to, Okay, that man, I think I didn't hear that in the audio, but I didn't complete the audio either, right? I didn't hear anything that has to do with DNA test or him claiming that he owns is the father, that he fathered the new child, right? But some people are saying he said that. He's claiming that they've been together since that time, and maybe not, right? But anyway, Yul Edochie, next time you want to wife up a side chick, okay, who happens to have had children for other people in the past, okay, it's probably a good idea to ask for a DNA test, okay, before you come out and announce to the rest of the world, okay? Now, if he did already or he didn't, we don't know, right? But it's probably a good idea to say, hey, you know what I'm saying? I know, we're feeling each other like that, I've been spending a lot of time with you, and it's a beautiful thing that you're about to have a baby, but you know what I'm saying, we should do a test just to make sure that all is well. You know what I'm saying? With his deep voice, right? It's probably a good idea, right? So, did OONI ask for DNA? Well, OONI is not, I don't think OONI is wifing up anybody that had children before. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think amongst the 4 people we know he's married recently, I don't think anyone, I think some of them are older, but not necessarily children. Maybe not. But not new children that was conceived within the time that he started seeing them, right? Just a suggestion, right? All right, lesson number 3. Let's get down to it. Lesson number 3. Don't catch the 180s with a side chick. You know what a 180s is? What's a 180s? Anybody know what a 180s is? You can Google it. 180s is the idea of the one, right? Somebody say, Ola, you don't believe in the one? What about your wife? Wait, now relax. Okay? Wait, relax. I said with a side chick. Okay? The guys in the manosphere have a saying. They say, she's not yours, it's just your turn. All right, they always use that wrongly too, but you get the gist. She's not yours, it's just your turn. Right? If you have a side chick, because clearly that's what she was, right? Don't catch the 180s. 180s is a disease. It's a disease that basically it's a disease used to reference, I'm trying to come up with a definition, right? It's used to reference when you have the idea of this is the one, right? Bro, you have a wife at home, right? No one is going to be the one already by default, right? So you run to the internet to make a claim, my new son with my wife, again, back to lesson number 5, you're mansplaining yourself to the world, right? And you now say you want to catch the 180s, you're now in a comment. You're saying, Odogu, blah, blah, blah. You're playing love on the internet. Bro, OONI of Ife will never do that now. And the whole world knows he's marrying the 6th wife already in 3 weeks. But you're not going to find him in the comments of any of the Oloris, of the queen. Come on, bro. Let's not play that game, okay? This tells me that this guy is a lover boy and he's trying to cap and form polygamist. Could it work? Remember I said that from day one. I said this guy is not a polygamist. That's not who he is. He was married to the same chick for the last 16 years and suddenly he's going to become a polygamist. No, this was just a side chick. He's trying to squeeze it in. Could it work? There's all kind of forces against that. Force number 1, ex-husband with a bunch of children. Will it work? And if she's that type of wife that would take children away from the ex-husband, it's definitely not going to work. She may be in love right now, What, bro? Make sure you don't lose your wife, your first wife. Whatever you have to do, patience. Be patient with her. Extremely patient with May Yul Edochie. Extreme patience. I don't think she's going anywhere. I don't think she will really want to go anywhere. But if you're extremely patient with her, she will even find it even much more difficult to leave, because that's all she's ever known. So a lot of patience on your part will work magic, no matter how painful it is. This new chick, Judy, that ain't the business. That's not the business. I'm sorry. I can't see it. I can't see it. Remember, the wife said she doesn't want to be a numbered, what's the word? She doesn't want to play a position as a wife, as one of the wives. Judy is definitely not going to play a second wife. She may feel like she wants to right now. It's not going to work. If everything that guy said earlier, the ex-husband, is true, especially, it's not going to work. You know, let's go to lesson number 2. I think I'm about to trigger a few people. But I promise you, I'll find a balance. I will try to find a balance, because I don't want to mansplain myself too, right? Lesson number 2. Be careful with baby mothers. Be careful with baby mothers. People that already had children before. I didn't say avoid them at all means. I said be careful. Listen. It's not even about the baby mother thing. When a woman is not emotionally available, she has to divide her emotions between you and other people, or the reality of you and other people, which by default she has to, because she has children with other people, right? You have to be careful with that. Okay? You have to be careful with that. There's a good chance that y'all did not know that this lady is hiding her children from the ex-husband. There's a very, very good chance. He's not going to be monitoring every move she makes. Oh, did they get to talk to their father? It's not going to do any of that. It's none of his business, to be frank with you. That's why that guy should not be bringing up his name. If he needs to maintain his masculine frame and stop bringing up yours name. Right? So, yeah, it's interesting. Be careful with baby mothers. Be careful. Make sure that they've healed. Make sure they've gone through healing therapy. Make sure that the children have a cordial relationship with the father of, unless it's something dangerous. Maybe the person was hurting the kids or something like that, right? While it's none of your business, you have to find some kind of sweet balance, because it's going to come back and bite you in the butt, because those children become partly your responsibility now. There's a lot that goes into that. Make sure you see a therapy yourself if you're going to get with a baby mother. The truth is that many of you will still wife up a baby mother. That's the reality. You're just going to fall in love like any normal human being. No matter how much you say, I will never, you're still, if she knows what she's doing, she will seduce your ass and make you fall in love. Make sure you're well prepared for that game you're playing. Okay? Because oftentimes, they're not emotionally ready or available for you. They may just be in love. It's temporary, right? You have to be careful with that. Lesson number 1 from the Alayelua, allegedly, right? Ikubabayeye OONI of Ife for Yul Edochie. Lesson number 1. I'm about to trigger someone. Women don't mind polygamy. They don't. Listen, somebody's about to say, that would never be me. That would never be me. That would never be me. Like me. No. No, I'm telling you right now, women don't mind polygamy. Okay? The only thing that women want is to feel safe and secure. So if they have ideologies that they've kicked against, if you feel safe and secure, they might just go for it. Why am I saying this to Yul Edochie? I think Yul Edochie thinks that he can't go out there and pick any woman and say, I want you to be my second wife. A woman that doesn't have any children, a woman, even if she has children, she's gone through proper healing, there's proper courting like you do in the Muslim world. do proper courting. You tell your wife at home, like, hey, I want to be a polygamist. You can stay with me or you can choose not to stay with me. But I feel like my calling is I want to be a president, I want to be a pastor, I want to have multiple wives, right? With your full chest. Women actually don't mind, some women don't mind polygamy. Okay? Find the people that don't mind polygamy, not those that you will swindle or they will swindle you into polygamy. It will backfire. Okay, it's a backfire. Let me see what y'all are saying, because I know you guys have been talking. Let's see. Ask for DNA. Yep, the Doro. Ask for, if you're going to mess with this type of woman, ask for DNA now. Let's not be stupid, right? Bagava says, wow, Brola, I never really saw this first husband's confession this way. Yeah. You know, you and Auntie B have different ways of dissecting. That's my sister, but yes, we're definitely different on how we dissect these things. Parallels. But we are both heading the same direction. We want to help relationships, right? Mr. Obasi asked for DNA tests. You'll not show up. Oh, Mr. Obasi did? He asked for DNA test. Oh, yeah. But the lesson is for y'all. Right? Lessons for y'all. Definitely for y'all. Yeah. Ola, doesn't the manosphere advise against marrying? Yeah, but they're usually lame with it. They're just saying don't marry baby mothers. But it's stupid because they're going to end up marrying baby mothers. Because they're majority of people in manosphere, dare I say, majority of people in manosphere are Mr. Nice Guys who think they can make up a bunch of rules that's not realistic, right? So they say never marry a baby mother. But what happens is that if a baby mother smile at them, they can't wait to start donating all this money. They fall in love so quickly because they are lover boys. So it's not realistic. So instead, I definitely don't just advise blankets, don't marry baby mothers. No, just like anything else in life, if someone has children with other people, it's a red flag that you should be aware of. You should be careful with that. You should make sure people go to therapy, make sure they have proper healing before you enter a situation with them, because that thing is going to keep haunting you for the rest of your life, literally, right? But to just advise a bunch of young men, blanket advice, don't marry baby, it's not realistic. They're going to get with baby mothers. They are actually much more attracted to baby mothers for the most part, right? They all claim they want 19-year-old girls, 20, 21-year-old girl, but it's cap. They fall in love, literally. They fall in love with the first thing in sight that looks like a smiling woman, literally. So I push completely against that. That's a terrible advice because it's generalized blanket advice, you know. But yes, baby mothers bring a lot of energy. They bring children from another man to the table. That's a red flag. That's not the only red flag. Once a person crosses the age of 30 and they're not married, that can become a red flag because now they're comfortable being by themselves, and that makes compromise a little bit more difficult. It doesn't mean you should avoid them. It just means be aware that this could be a real thing for you. Talk to therapy, understand how this stuff works, understand the different dynamics that's going to happen. For the fact that you're marrying a 45-year-old man who has never been married before. It's not divorce, it's nothing. He's just never been married. There's a reason. Let's not cap about that. It's the same thing with a woman, right? So that all these different things can become complication because of the social construct, right? Can a 22-year-old or 25-year-old man be red flag? Yes, of course. But it's not going to be because they've had children. It's something else, right? It's not going to be because they have children with other people or they're of age and not married, right? But there's a reason why you spent the last 20 years of your adult life and you're not off the market. There's a reason. It doesn't make you an evil person. There's a reason. And if you're going to get into a relationship and do life with another person, that should be assessed. ASSESS. It should be assessed and make sure that there's nothing that can be risky for yourself as the person or the person you're getting with, right? all of that should, and then they should give you tools to continue to navigate, because even when you do it the most perfect way, right? There's no perfect marriage. You're still going to have troubles that will come from a blind spot. It could be a child died 2 years into your relationship and you're not even yet married. Like, some people don't know how to react to that. It becomes a big issue for them for the future, right? There's so many things. So it's just being aware. That's just two of many, many things it could be, right? If you're not married at the age of 30, you're not a bad person. There is a reason why you're not off the market, right? Assess it. If you have children and you are newly divorced, and the father of the children are nowhere in the picture, hello, where is it's not unless it's no longer alive. There's a reason. You need to understand why that is. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It doesn't have to be a complete red flag, like a red card. Don't go near that. Is a terrible advice, because that's precisely, there's a reason why you're telling them don't go, because they end up going near it, right? Because it can be attractive. Believe it or not, a woman of a certain age who has had children, they are attractive to young men. Yeah, that's a real thing. You didn't know that, right? So the manosphere sometimes will talk, and a lot of people that listen to them long enough, they start having this fear, like, I'm no longer attractive to men. No, you are. Don't listen to that bullshit. Okay? All you have to do is smile at these lames, and they're like, yeah, here's $100. Here's $5. Yeah. Oh, especially if you know how to repeat their talking points. Don't get me started with that. Okay? The point I'm making here is that there's multiple layers to this. We just touched on maybe 2 layers, right? But these are very, very obvious layers. If you're going to wife up a side chick who already has children, like, I have a very strong feeling that this completely came for y'all from a very, very blind spot. Like, you can see this coming. You just thought, oh, just be my second wife. I'm just gonna be Daddy Freeze. Daddy Freeze did that, right? He did that. Did it not happen to Daddy Freeze? The same story happened. Some guy sued him for 5 million naira, right? Something like that, right? He got sued by the ex-husband of the present wife. But the difference is that this wasn't the second wife for Daddy Freeze. This is the person he was dating and he was living with already, right? It's not like he's now coming into the public and saying, oh, this is going to be my second wife. So, yes. She said, it's not me, Sha. I hope not. Stop spending so much time in the manosphere. It's don't. Be careful with that. Okay? Some women, not me. Polygamy is a deal breaker. If you say so. Glamola, if you say so. If you say so. If you say so. If I have to bet, I will argue with you. If there's real money on the table, I will argue with you, but I won't do that. Yeah. I believe you. I believe you, Glamola. The truth, let me tell you the truth. Even for most men, I haven't met any young man who is saying, I'm just going to go practice polygamy. No, I haven't met them. Those that are saying that are fantasizing, and they're usually lame. All you have to do is wait for them to talk up 3-4 sentences, and you're like, hey, you don't even know what you're talking about. You have no idea the reality of polygamy, which I keep telling them is a war zone. It's not. Yeah, it's a war zone. Why? Because humans are humans. They get jealous. They get jealous. It's the reality, you know. So now, if people are practicing the religion of Islam wholeheartedly, and they are marrying 4 wives, and the wife already believed that, and they subscribe to the same thing, the fact that they are subscribed to their own God, and that becomes a structure for them, that can make things work a little bit better. But they're still humans. They will still get jealous. And reality, as in Nigeria's situation, ASU strike plus NYSC plus unemployment can stretch to 35 to 40 years of age. It's still a marketplace, Brother Patrick. It's still a marketplace, and there are people getting married much earlier. It's just, again, it's not an indictment. It's just something to be aware of. You know, if an average person is getting married at 35 to 40, then my number can move. It's a moving target, right? If suddenly the average person is marrying at 40, 45, and you as a person, you find yourself, you're single at 65. That's what I'm talking about, not the particular numbers, right? That's what I'm talking about. There's a reason why you're still on the market at 65 when everyone else is getting married at 35, 40. It's not an indictment. It's just something that you should be aware of. If you're marrying a person at 65, right? Like the general overseer of my church, Baba Biara, Agbalaitura, he married a woman that have never been married at the age of, I think she was 65, 60, 65. Like, you think he's not going in there to do... I'm speaking also from a standpoint that a lot of people in this society don't even do any research. They just fall in love and just marry anyhow. That's what I'm talking about. It's just one of the many things you should probably lean in and say, so you've never been married? Why not? Where have I been? There's a way you ask that question that you will get some truth out of it. I don't know. After they start getting comfortable, they will tell you the truth eventually and say, I had a relationship that fell apart. You want to hear things like that. I had a relationship I was in 6 years, relationship with a person, at last minute, it's just never going to work out. They will tell you more over time when you get to know them. You want to know these things. You just, again, the idea that somebody has never dated anybody and they're 37, and because of university is why you're not off the market. Brother Patrick, at this point in time, I'm going to have to play sound effect for you, sir, with all due respect.
Stop the cap.
Brother Patrick, you need to come and explain this to me on the stage. I know you're probably busy today. You see what I'm saying? People just wait till they graduate to marry. No, they say that, but that's not the reality. That's just not the reality. ASU strike does not hold you from getting off the market. NYC does not hold you from getting off the market. Your reality holds you from getting off the market. There's a reason why you're still on the market at an age that's much more beyond what an average person is getting hooked up. If that's what you want. If you don't want marriage, I was not talking to you in the last 10, 15 minutes. This wasn't about you at all, right? Because I can respect that as well. All right, so that was the lessons right there. It looks like I did this all by myself today, which I don't mind sometimes, because sometimes the lesson just need to stand alone. What I'm trying to say with this OONI of IFE, the overall lesson here that I'm trying to share with everyone here is this, okay? I may have come from a place of sarcasm a little bit, which is necessary for me to get the point across. But this was my point exactly. The cons of polygamy. Okay, polygamy is not beans. Let me say it properly. Polygamy no be beans. It's not your mate. Stop fantasizing about polygamy. If you happen to go and play carrier with somebody outside of your marriage and it happened because you were being human and you made a mistake, don't try to wrap it up and after the fact. You're supposed to wrap it up before, right? Don't try to squeeze it in and say, hey, after all, polygamy can work. No. The rules of this society is not set up that way. You're not set up that way. Your own immediate parent, Baba, what's his name? Baba Edochie, right? He knew what he knew when he decided not to practice polygamy, right? You're not smarter than him. If you're smarter than him, you're not wiser than him. There's a reason why the society in general gravitated away from polygamy. You're not wiser than that thing, especially if you're running your mouth. You've never really done the assessment. You haven't spoken to people that come from polygamy, but you just want to fantasize about the idea of being with multiple wives, and you don't even know how to maintain 2 girlfriends, right? Yeah, you're gonna end up in this kind. You're gonna get finessed by a Judy Austin all the time. You're going to find yourself in a mess that you don't belong in, like some ex-husband hunting you down. When you entangle up with emotionally unavailable women, you're going to find yourself in a mess. That happened to, what's his name, Skip Davidson. You entangled up with Kim Kardashian. Now you find yourself in the mess of Ye, right? You can see these examples everywhere, right? You can see them everywhere. But what do I know? I'm just analyzing, right, based off my own limited information. So thank you for that, Glamola. This is exactly the lesson today. It's been long you left Nigeria. Patrick, let's leave that thing alone, Jerry. Patrick, when you come up next, we'll talk about it, you know. But shout out to you. Shout out to everyone that made it today. Shout out to all 38 people listening in the background. Yeah. So hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. And I'll see you on the next one. And peace.